Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about compound interest. I know that a lot of you have a lot of questions. Please wait for my messages on Schoology so that we can get in contact. So today on compound interest, we are going to dissect the function, and that's all we're going to be doing for the remainder of the day. So just work on functions. How do we use them? How do we manipulate them? Right? How do we change them? How to just everything about functions that we can think about. Right? So let's go ahead and dissect this formula. So A stands for the amount of money that you're going to have by this formula, right? So all of these variables have meaning. Let's start off with the P. So P stands for the initial principal, the amount that you are going to deposit, say in this case when we're talking about a bank account, the amount that you're originally depositing or withdrawing. It depends on what what are you doing. Then we have the formula. You know what one is plus R. R still stands for the annual percent. The interest, the interest rate, and the interest rate is expressed as a decimal. So you do need to change percentage into decimal if they give you a percentage, right? N here we have n, the variables, right? Both of these are just n. N stands for the amount of compounded, the number of times compounded per year, right? So here, if we're talking about compounded quarterly, then quarterly in a year means, well, 4, right? If we talk about biannually, we're talking about 2. If we're talking about monthly, right? What are we talking about? We're talking about 12. If we're talking about daily, talking about 365 days. So that the number of times that you are compounded will depend on the problem, right? So let's jump right into example 5. Let me try to explain to you all. So you deposit $9,000 in an account. So first of all, we're starting off with the initial principal. We already get that P equals 9,000. So go ahead and write that down. An account that pays 1.46 annual interest. So R is 1.46%. Go ahead and change that into a decimal right away. So we move the decimal place 1, 2 to the left. So we add a 0 here. We're going to have 0.0146 as you can see in the problem. We find the balance. Go ahead and find the balance after 3 years when the interest is compounded quarterly. So we get the time frame of 3, right? So we get t equals 3, and we get compounded quarterly. So n equals 4. So now that we have all the pieces of information, let's go ahead and write them all down. Just like we mentioned, p equals 9,000, r equals 0.0146, n equals 4, t equals 3. We're going to plug all those in. And you will need a calculator. I strongly recommend you use decimals. We've been using decimals for a while now, and I know that some of you feel very comfortable with it. Now, we are dealing with money, so money will end in the hundreds place, right? So you will need to go to places beyond the decimal points. So just keep that in mind. Now, the project that I want you all to work on is in relation to the coronavirus. I know that some of your parents, I know that I can't really say this for everybody, but I know that some of your parents got the $1,200 check from the government, right? And this is there's no strings attached. This isn't a loan. This isn't you're gonna get taxed on it next year. Like none of that. So, what I want you to do is I want you to figure out how much money you would have after 4 years if you were to actually start a savings account. So let's say you deposit $1,200 in accounts that pays 1.75% annual interest. So I'm assuming that the money went straight to you, right? It's in your pockets and you want to save it, so you want to flip it, right? I know that's been going on a lot where people are trying to do pyramid schemes. By the way, don't fall for that and make sure your parents don't fall for that. And yeah, so you 1.75% increase. Say you went, let's just say you went to Chase or Bank of America or some bank that actually pays you to have their money in their account. So find the balance after 4 years when the interest is compounded monthly. So based on the problem that I just gave you, we're talking about P equals 1,200, R equals, well, you need to change this by yourself, but let's assume that I gave you 1.75%. N equals, well, I said monthly, so then N equals 12 and T equals 4. So that is the average time frame that people are in college, right? So by the time that you're in finishing college or are going to get to college, this is how much money you're going to have by that time. So go ahead and work on that. I will be giving more details on Schoology, so specifically on what the assignment is. Now let's go ahead and go towards your homework. Your homework is only going to be 4 problems in exercise 41 through 44, right? All 4 of these. Use the given information to find the amount A in the account earning compound interest after 6 years when the principal is 3,500. So you already know that P is 3,500 for all 4 problems. What is T? T equals 6. Pretty easy. What is R? R is 2.16 in this problem, 2.29, and so on, so on, right? Different R's in every different problems. You do have to change them to decimals. Now, your N will also be changing. The N in this sense says compounded quarterly, so you have N equals 4, compounded monthly. Hopefully you know how many months there are in a year. Compounded daily. Ooh, the answer to that question will actually change. Let's say you're working with the years 2020, right? So 2020. So you're actually going to, instead of putting 365, you're actually going to put 366 for your N. So let's see what you actually get from that. Go ahead and work on your homework, and you will be needing to do this on paper and showing me a picture. So good luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow.